Thank you so much for staying on. My name is Amnah, and we're going to change a little bit the style now, since you know Ilylia already. So I've spoken to Mr. Stay, outstanding gentleman. You should know by now his background. Of course, the Vice-Chancellor today with the University Malaya-Wales, but of course he's with the ACCA, London School of Economics before, INSEAD, and so on and so forth. And the famous Revin, or Raga, or whatever you call it, Rohan. In fact, he has all these Monday things with the internet and social media. And this is exciting. What is important now is these three people next to me now, they are already capitalizing business through services. Can I say that? Sure. Right. Now, today I've been asked to, rather than they present, let's just throw them the questions, right? So at least we are not too tired because we're ending the session anyway. Right. By the way, 96% of Malaysian industries are SMEs. You know that. Only 4% are MNCs. 70% of Malaysian population are 34 years old and below. Wow. And you already knew about the percentage of unemployment and so on and so forth. Sumitra mentioned only 5% of the industry really embrace technology. Alamak. So a lot of people said to us, Alamak, Puan, I'm very worried because the world is changing so fast. Here I am, I'm the 30%, and I don't even have a Twitter or Facebook and so on and so forth. And yet I'm in industry, service industry. How can I challenge myself in order for me to capitalize on the new industry wave? How can I be smart? How can I converge? How can I partner? Because Malaysia, with 32 million people, is so small. How can we benefit from ASEAN of 600 million people and the world? Okay, let me throw the question right away, and then you're welcome to ask questions as well. So, first question to you three. How can, you want me to take? What can we SME, especially 90% of the SME in Malaysia, do to change their mindset in order to embrace the Industry 4.0?
Changing mindset. Okay. Okay. When I look around the room, I can connect to most people in this room because I've been there before, both as a user as well as a seller. In this field of technology, although we call it the fourth industrial revolution, in fact, the e-commerce change began much, much earlier. Indeed, the e-commerce craze, if most of you could recall, came about in the 1990s. I think there was a crash in between, and somehow some people survived, some firms went on, to grow big. But the question of how remains in the minds of most people. I think from the SME perspective, there's always three challenges that you face. First and foremost, it's all about cost, C-O-S-T. Cost means you really got to make sure that when you wake up this morning, your business is still there and your customers are there, both past, present, and future. And on top of that, you still have the challenge of managing your cash flow. I myself have been an SMP myself. I call it SMP, small, medium practitioner. I tried it for 2.5 years. Mind you, it was a very hard call because in all my 35 years of working, I've always worked with the big companies. And they say big is beautiful. It's true because you do have deeper pockets. You've got the resources, both in terms of your market, in terms of your connection. And in this patronage society, especially Malaysia, the know-whom factor is very strong. And when you're on your own, you literally mean on your own. And when you have to work from end to end, finding people to work with you is an issue here. Who do you trust that you could part your money and to invest in him to run the business for you? And if you're not, you do it all by yourself. If you decide to be a taskmaster, which means that you could be a one-leg kick, I can assure you that, that 24 hours isn't enough. And I think before long, you give up. Then this whole question of perceptions. The whole question of perception is all about, wow, if we go e-commerce, we'll get a bigger market. That's not true. 90% of those startup businesses that went into this fail, unfortunately. To what extent they lose their money, we don't know. I don't have data. People don't reveal how much they lose money. They only tell how much they make, It's also about saving face. I'll tell you my experience. I went into e-commerce about a number of years ago, thinking that e-learning was the in thing. Right? Everybody talks about, wow, e-learning. I heard it just now when we talk about learning. Nobody wants to do e-learning. They want to have e-playing, okay? I go to companies and say, and the first question is, how much it costs? I say, sir, it's only 500 ringgit per employee for 1 year usage. That's cheap. 1 year usage? No. I've got 20 employees that will qualify. We spend money in building the contents. We've spent money in building the application. We build money in making sure it is window compliant so that it is friendly to any systems that you want to use. And guess what? After 6 months, my partner and I decided to say, forget it. We give it for free. We give it for free. I went up to a lot of companies, including HRDF. They didn't want to know me. That's before the election. I don't know about now, all right? Okay, I wanted to be registered as the e-learning player. I didn't get anywhere, all right? I didn't get anywhere. The courses I supply are very relevant. It is about teaching you to understand from very simple things like reading balance sheet, and financial reports, right down to understanding how to fill in a simple forms. It's very easy to use, but no one cares a damn. Why? It's because most companies tells me that they've got budget because training budget, they were forced upon them, either by their trade association or by HRDF. And so they would conveniently use this money and place their people. And most people who attend training are those that are probably the least productive because the employer say, this fellow has got nothing to do, send him off, The good ones never got training. I will assure you that all your employees who are best ones never attend training. Their records are never filled in. I will bet you that's true, okay? The one who attended training most are the ones that goes down exchanging their business cards and they change jobs a lot of times. That's the truth. Which explains why employers are worried and say, if I allow these guys to go for training, I will lose him. So therefore, the retention factor comes in. That's an SMB, right?
So what happened to your business? Does it work or not?
I left.
You left?
I left. I decided to write a book, I decided to write a book, and I got it published about in September, last year. And I've sold 200 copies of it. And yesterday I received a check for $5.58 Singapore dollars, in royalties. That's all I got. All right.
Wow. So in short, then how do you change the mindset of this SME since you went through that problem already?
It's difficult. So you have to take baby step. The first step is that you have to have a strong relationship between you and the technology. How does it benefit you? And that's important. And there is no one immediate answer. Second one, most SMB have to pay for compliance. Do you know in this country, everything is regulated? You have to pay for every damn license, that you start.
Okay. Is the government here?
I will tell you that. I will tell you, even from the sector that I come from, the education sector, the compliance cost is huge. It's no joke. So
the government needs to shorten the processes.
The government needs to get rid of these costs, so that to allow greater entrepreneurship, greater creativity, because businessmen are worried about this cost. Forget about those government-linked companies, because they got deep pocket, they got their godfathers to help them. But all of us, if we are left on our own, we really got to cari makan. That's one.
And
all right.
The third, sir, before I give it
okay,
to
the third one,
Ilylia.
importantly, is this. Okay, now we're talking about global. Okay, you may be talking about IR4, but people forget that IR4 must come with responsibility and ethics. How many times your data has been used, abused, and misused? We get a lot of calls from some unknown people. Sir, I got a property to sell you. How did you get my number? Don't know. Before anything else, today you lose your email. Now they even know how to get through you through WhatsApp. Who on earth is this person? They say, So we are talking about data intelligence. Data intelligence, despite the Privacy Act, is not good enough to stop. Okay?
Right.
So anyone who embark on this must embrace this whole concept of ethics, which most people forget. Okay, and the last one, the last one is it's about what someone mentioned about cognitive skills and emotional intelligence.
Right.
Most people prefer the left-hand side. No need to think, repeated jobs, good money, good pay, 9 to 5, go home, let the boss worry. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa, all right. So, your advice?
My advice is think carefully before you jump into this. I'll tell you, there is one bank in this country that I admire most. Anyway, without mentioning, you know where they are. They maintain the high street bank label, and they are highest profit making today. Okay? And the boss is still there. Right, thank you.
We all know Mr. Tay, public bank. But very good insight, right? Cost, change the mindset, maybe change some regulation. And also try to be closest to the technology people. Let's move to Ilylia. 35 years old, started the business very young. She had to go to this America in order to rediscover herself. And then she found out this robotic thing is good for business. How did she change the mindset? And what is your own mindset and your fear? And you go out there. What is your advice to the young and the old or the older person? I'm 55, don't worry. So what is your advice for the SME moving, embracing the Industry 4.0?
Thank you, Amnah. Well, I think the challenge or the struggle, they say the struggle is real, yeah. As an SME, until today, after 10 years, after all the achievements, after trying to fundraise and sending teams to compete, to show, the achievements of these young people, I still fail to get any form of grant from the Malaysian government.
Grant.
No, it's true. It's true. Because
that's something to jot down.
No, I'm not asking for grant here.
Yes.
But the problem is that each time you speak to the financial institutions or agencies that are supposed to assist SME entrepreneurs, they don't understand anything about the business that I do. They do not want to take the risk.
I agree in many ways. So jot that down.
Yeah. They do not want to take the risk. Each time I said, what do you do? Well, I do educational center. I have an educational center. I promote STEM. It's all modular. It's basically like a tuition center, but they learn technology, right? They don't see how they can relate to that because for them that's a high risk business. They're so used to the conservative businesses like retails and if like the SME in the desa and all that, they are more comfortable with the agro product, food based product, fashion, culture, things like that are more relatable. But when it comes to technology, we struggle, and 10 years and ongoing, I still sometimes question myself. Why am I still here? Why am I still doing this? I have not been able to get that message strongly out yet.
But Alhamdulillah, you are successful. What did you do right in 10 years? Can we learn?
I think I have gone through a lot of rejections. Okay. A lot of people always challenge, why do you do this? Why do you think? Give me examples of your achievement, things that challenges you. But I think when you try to go back to basic, I'm a realist. And we can talk about, producing data scientists, rocket science, flying cars, whatever it is, It is achievable. It is achievable, but we have to be realistic of the fact that are the industry and the young people ready for that? That is the problem, And how do we bridge that gap? That's for us to, again, to find out. But I think, a lot of people are too busy worrying about the risk. But in 4.0, in all these experiments and technology, it's all about R&D and investment and failing and doing it, failing and doing it again, right? So there is it is not wrong to actually give opportunity to young people who wants to make that change.
So obviously it's not wrong to fail also and change it quickly.
I can say I have failed countless of times. What worries me is that sometimes when I go to bed, I'm like, wow, my bank balance, the company account, can I survive another month paying salaries to my staff? How do I motivate them? Because like Dr. Tay says, it's not easy to make them stay. If another organization offers just 100 or 200 ringgit more, they will go off, because the challenges of the millennials today is about money. The reality is about money. But money is important. You can't blame them. They need to survive, and life in KL is hard. So how do we upgrade all this? It's still a long shot.
So how do you make your organization interesting for these young to work with you?
Well,
so they tak lari, so they don't run away.
Well, I always said to them, I'm going to be I am your leader, but I'm not your boss. There are certain things that we can do because I'm trying to relate to them, because our age gap is usually not very, very big, right? So I tell them that is the reality of life, but I never stop them also. If they want to find something that is better and bigger, go ahead and do it. We're not there to stop. But what I always tell them is that life is not easy. Okay.
There you go.
No, but it's true. Life is not easy, And but I am blessed with a family that is very, very mentally strong. They're like, my parents are actually here today. The two of them at the back there,
Wow, you raised two wonderful
I
kids.
make them come here. I say, you never come for any of my events because they don't want to be seen. But I say, you have to come today so you can criticize the things that I say today.
So I can add that having a fantastic parents that support you is one of the contributing factors, right?
Yes, exactly. My dad, in the beginning only, he provides some monetary solution, right? But after some time, he said, I'm not in it to pump it anymore, But the thing is, he was the brainchild behind all this. He said that you need to do something that has a purpose, And I'm still trying to find that purpose. The purpose is there. But the problem is that the support from the ground is not enough.
Amazing. That's good. Ilylia, thanks. Sorry? So, right, so we go through that later, sir. Okay, so that's interesting perspective from Ilylia. Now let's talk about another gentleman here, already, Revin, and Oraga, whatever it is, So he's a very, very famous person in the internet in a way, and he give motivational talk and so on and so forth, and he make money from that as well. So how in this business of services, because we talk about how the services sector can pursue. By the way, in UK and in America, almost 80% of the industries are in services. Today, by 2020, we reckon last year we're about 54% in services. We want to be at least 56% by 2020. So, tak tinggi. So the idea is, you can see that as you have mature economy, it will grow towards that 80 and so on and so forth. The world is getting smaller. Let's talk to Revin, his experience, his own experience, and how the SME can manage these challenges.
You actually have oversold me.
Sorry?
Oversold me. Okay, never mind. It's okay. I'll try. Yeah. Okay, where do I start? You are right, Amnah, that these SMEs, even in these countries, almost 800,000 plus of them, 70 to 80%, even more. So I think are in service sector. Yeah. I go through the IR 4.0 forward blueprint, it's a lot about manufacturing. The focus of many of the government agencies is towards manufacturing, making Malaysia as a manufacturing hub in the digital economy. But are we able to compete with China?
Definitely no.
It's going to be very tough for us. But we have a huge workforce need to come on board and get a job, get a life, and become successful and happy. Otherwise, we're going to suffer together, for rest of life. Parents going to spend so much of effort and money educating their children, hoping that they will become successful in whatever career they choose. But then ecosystem will not enable them. It'll fail them, right?
In many of your videos that I watch, so, you mentioned about discovering the inner soul, the emotional part and life of that individual.
Yeah,
so,
that's
so
what I'm trying to say.
How's that contribute?
Despite of all the challenges that Ilylia was mentioning, how the government of the past, or I don't know, I don't want to go into that, didn't support the SMEs, right? Didn't get the full government enabling kind of
Kingsley Strategic
But still,
Institute.
these SMEs didn't fail. They still thrived. They work hard. They come back. They get up every time they fall. And they are here as successful people and trying to be more thriving and successful. What is driving them with all these challenges? And I think that is not digital technology. It is not IoT. It is not data. It's basically what's inside them that's driving them. End of the day, face all kind of challenges. You see, are you saying these challenges is only because of digital economy now? Is never in the other three industrial revolution? We face challenges throughout the whole life of existence on Earth, right? But somehow, all these individuals becoming successful in life in some extent, to some degree, because of who they are, what their true potentials are, and they bring out this leadership in them.
So what is your advice to all the businesses people here? They have a lot of young people in their companies. So what they, as the leader, can insip into the young?
The key is what Mr. Tay correctly put, the culture and the mindset, right? And that need to transform. Last 10 years, we've been working with many organizations on culture transformation from traditional culture or business to digital economy culture, right? And number one component that we work with any organization is the leaders.
There you go. Start with the leader.
And in SMEs, if you are the business owner, if you are the CEO, you are the boss, you are the one who need to change, transform, and become a true leader into this new environment called digital economy.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
Tak nak tepuk ke?
And one thing that Ilylia mentioned just now, my parents are here, they are my inspiration. That shows the leadership that she has learned and developed in herself through their guidance.
Amazing.
Right?
Okay.
And many of these good bosses and good entrepreneurs that we see in front here, they would have learned from somebody who they have been inspired by these people. This can be one of your worst bosses before, but some of their good qualities actually, made you who you are now. And these leadership qualities that you have developed through your bosses, your parents, and your teachers actually makes you so tough and able to thrive in whatever challenges. So when I tell the young people especially, this new disruptive economy that we are talking about is no different from reality of life throughout the ages. It's just you, how you face the challenges, how you bring out the inner strength in you and use your competencies and potentials that are going to determine how successful you're going to end up.
Amazing. Come on, give blood. Okay, now the question is to you. You have these three people up next to me. Come on, first question. Come on. Yes, sir. May I know your name and the company you represent? Please.
Dr. Raghu, I run a company, consultancy company, and Quality Associates. Now, the question just now, why did you move the slide so fast? that service industry.
Right.
The slide before this?
They want our session, lah.
Yeah, correct, yeah. The minister has gone, it's okay.
How the service...
Okay, never mind. It's about how to move forward in the service industry. I've got bad news for all of you.
Okay.
Service industry is finished. Okay?
All right.
It has gone into what is called optimum industry sector. Okay? That's for another topic. Now, my question to this panel is this. You know, people talk about culture. Any thoughts on how we can promote the necessary culture that's required in the leadership of an organization, the digital transformation? Why I'm asking you is this. Recently, Forbes magazine came out and said the literacy of Industry 4.0 in Europe at C-level, C-suite level is 4%. In America, 28%. And I think in Malaysia, probably 0%. Thank you.
Alamak. So you're...
I'll take the clicker. Yeah.
So, Revin wants to answer that.
Dr. Raghu is right. It's not only service industry, Doctor. All industries, all sectors. The way we used to know business is no more the same. It's all gone. That's what we call as traditional way of doing business, and then the digital economy or the IR 4.0 way of doing business. And that need to go through transition. Right? And those leaders or followers who cannot move to this new culture with their mindset change, they are the one going to disappear.
Right. So, okay. Ilylia, you want to say something? Oh. You have to lah. You know, after that, I have to pass to Tay.
Okay. That's a very, for me, I would say that, the old timer is not the word, the mature, the older generation, right? My uncles and my, they are the ones with the pocket, the fundings and things like that. They have all the funds, right? So what they need to do is need to adapt really, really fast and try to understand how they can benefit from the young people. That's the way to look, because right now our culture is in such a way that I cannot tell my uncle that he's doing it the old school way. He's not going to accept that, right? But if my uncle opens up his mind and said that there is an opportunity in this and I must take that opportunity by trying to understand the new culture, the changes, then that would benefit them without having to work so hard.
So you're saying that that these two cultures need to converge and understand each other. Yeah.
What she's saying is only the old generation must stay.
No. I am not saying the old generation has failed. I have so much love and respect for the older generation. But what I'm trying to say is that our culture has put us, to a level where we need to be very, very careful, the young people, when we say things to the decision makers who are the older.
Okay, that's
people.
not so bad. That's not so bad, alhamdulillah. But I got to ask Mr. Tay now. So what's your thought? So you are the mature adult here. I will not ask his age.
Okay, thank you. Well, I come from the baby boomer generation. All right. Okay. And I do embrace social marketing and whatever the new wave of and I've already explained to you, to some extent, I didn't succeed, and I'm very honest about it. But if you look at the digital business, it's all about getting the right people to build the application and the platform. And then there's also the products that you're putting on. And it's a very fiercely contested business down there.
Fiercely contested, yes.
It's not hunky-dory, okay? There are lots of suppliers that will promise you to build good website, good social media. But when they come to returns on investment, there's no guarantee on profits.
Agree.
Yeah, no guarantee. And how many business people are willing to do that? I did a proposal to one of the, I think he is the 7th richest man in this country. He went to page 13. That was my financial projection. Like that only, this is money you make. I get it. He wasn't even willing to put up with me for 2 years. I only asked for 2 years for a little bit of loss making, and then my prediction is that the 3rd year I will be able to break even and return some modest profit. But he's looking at huge profits from the day one.
Alamak, sian. So what is your advice?
And you know what? How much am I asking for? You guess how much am I asking for capital, for my seed money? You guess? Less than that. I merely asked for 100,000 Australian dollars.
Pun tak nak kasih.
Pun tak nak kasih. And he's the 7th richest man, and his all his money came from plantation and property.
Okay, you want us to guess it again. Right.
All right. He doesn't believe in e-commerce. So how macam mana? Let me ask you.
So in conclusion?
It's hard to convince this fellow with deep pockets.
So okay.
And the one with the deep pocket are the government, and they invest in the wrong way.
Yeah. So Revin, cepat. Yeah.
All right.
Alamak. Revin, cepat.
If we attended this whole day talking about all the big jargons of IoT
Kita
and
ada 3-4 minit lepas tu must conclude.
Final analysis. You have generation baby boomer, generation X, generation Y, and what is coming is Gen Z, the real digital economy people, right? I need to be blunt on this. Ilylia was very polite. But I have to tell the truth.
Yes.
This is traditional leadership, which was very successful as my parents or Ilya's grandparents. Okay? But this traditional leadership will not work if we become like him for the future. Will not work. I, being an ex, because of my experience and hard work, I'm leading the organization and leading families, leading society or any kind of organization. I can be successful. I'm here because of my past track record, right? But whether I'm going to be successful, the next Industry 4.0 environment is going to be a big question mark because it won't work. Just like what I mentioned just now. Traditional leadership, traditional way of doing things, the whole culture needs to change.
You've got to change your mindset completely.
We need to become like Ilylia. We need to learn from Ilylia. In fact, we need to learn how to help lead Ilylia. Or even her children.
Right.
You see, which is totally different from our traditional world.
Right.
Digital economy is going to be, it's the next 10 years. So that's the good news. We have 10 years to go through this transition. There's a lot of things going to be, we're going to need to learn, and that world is different. Past success will not guarantee future success.
Whoa.
Right?
Okay, with time limits, unfortunately, I will stop here, but we ask them just bagi kita advice lah. Okay? Because the tajuk is the topic, how can the SME embrace or profit from the Industry 4.0, 96% of the industry in Malaysia are the SMEs, and I'm the 30%, I'm not the 70% age group. So why don't we go to Mr. Tay? So what's your, bagi jangan panjang tau, just a closing remark, cepat.
Okay, well, I don't necessarily agree that past success.
Tak apa.
That one, never mind. I'll go in another debate with you. I'll go in a debate with you. We as the so-called the new generation must be prepared to take risks. So to take risks, that means you must know exactly what are the possibility you're going to lose money, and I think that's what it is. Secondly, I think end of the day you need to find people who can work with you and willing to support you throughout, and somebody that you can trust to take you along the journey. The third one is essentially it's that know what you are you are going into and be very focused. And the digital business is no different from the brick and mortar. It's the same concept altogether.
Thank you. How about you, Ilylia? Jamaiman, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's going to take time. Yeah, but we need to learn to listen more to what the changes are, because I understand that there's always a gap between, for example, I'm just a diploma and somebody has a degree, for example. We always have that layers of we need to think before we say something. But times has changed, because the potential of a person is not determined by what they have achieved academically. It's beyond that. It's from life experience. And you need to listen more to those that have gone through that obstacle, and try to take out as much information to learn from them. And I think it's really time for everyone, to come together and work as a community to make things happen
Very
for
good.
Malaysia. Yeah.
Thank you, Ilylia. That you learned something there from the young. Okay, Revin, your closing remark.
I don't want to start a quarrel here. Anyway, Mr.
We can agree to disagree.
As I mentioned, leaders are the one first need to lead change. Definitely, we need to change. The transformation need to take place, because the future is different. And for the leaders, I have 5 tips prepared for this particular session. Be customer driven, be very customer centric, and your customer is the future customer, not your past loyal customers. Focus on the processes, because that is what your customer experience is all about with your organization and your business. Right. Number 3, commit to team, high performance team. Build a team around you. The traditional leadership is single leader who believes that he knows everything. His past experience is good enough to move forward, but the whole organization needs to become a high performance team. You need people to collaborate, to support you. And the fourth one is engage your employees, because these employees of next generation, they only work where they are happy. They are happy generation. They learn their life by playing video games. They want to be happy all the time. So if you are a boss that scold people and shout at them, no way you're going to have any loyal employees more than 1 month. 1 month, they decide. And finally, reinvent yourself, go for innovation, go for new ideas, always embrace agile and be flexible. Don't be rigid with your past kind of culture or mindset. Continuously change. And finally, leadership. Leadership is about change, not following.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you very much. So you learn a lot, and thank you. So hope we can go home with that cup of tea. And thank you, Kingsley, and also SME Malaysia. So we learned a lot today, and thank you for being here.